Hey kids, Mr. Face here. First of all, I'd like to really apologize for the very long break I've been taking. Second of all, I'd like to say that Deep Within the Pine Forest Part 3 will be coming out very soon, I promise that. But to hold you over, tonight's story is The Graveyard People. About 11 years ago, I used to live in a small house that neighbored a cemetery. I was only 12 at the time, so this arrangement was slightly unnerving. Particularly so when I began to stay up late during the summer when school was out. If I looked into the graveyard around 3 in the morning, I could see shadows moving. For a long time, I didn't know what they were or what they wanted, but eventually I took to calling them the Graveyard People. The Graveyard People had a little ritual they would do. They would always go to a different grave every night I might add, grab something, and then run back to the mausoleum that sat in the center of the cemetery. For a few months I would stay up and watch them. After all, they stayed in the cemetery and never seemed to notice me watching them through the blinds. I had always been careful to darken my room when watching them so that I didn't leave my silhouette showing in the window. However, in early August of that year I had a nightmare. To this day I can't exactly remember what it was, but it made me utterly afraid to have the light off that night. Despite this, I wanted a last look at the Graveyard People before school forced me to sleep well before they awoke from their strange ritual. So I pressed my luck. I slipped my head up to the window. A scream caught in my throat. One of the Graveyard People was at my window, staring at me with its gray, hound-like face. It stared perfectly still, with a half-eaten, half-rotted limb in one hand. I was frozen as it snorted hot breath under my window, making a thick fog on the glass. Then it took a long finger and wrote in the fog that it had produced,
"You should be sleeping."
For years after, I refused to stay up late, and if I did, I'd at least pretend to sleep. I have moved several times in the years since, always for different reasons. Nothing supernatural, mind you. My moves have brought me full circle. I'm in college now, and I live across from a cemetery once more. And occasionally, if I'm up late enough and dare to look out my window, I can make out the shadows of the Graveyard People. I wonder if they ever look back to see if I'm watching.